Alright, so let's take a look at this chapter of probability. So first thing first, what is probability? So probability is a measure of chance. For example, what is the probability that today might rain or will rain? So can be half, can be maybe 1/3. Alright. Okay, then second, what is a sample space? So sample space means is the collection of all the possible outcome. Okay, for example, right, if I bring your attention to this example one, a fair six-sided die or dice is rolled, right? So write down the sample space. So what are all the sample space that I can write down? I can write down 1, okay, I can write down 2, 3, 4, 5, and 6. So there will be a total of 6 possible outcomes. So these are what I call sample space. Okay, another example, a coin. So if I toss a coin, right, what is the sample space of a coin? So we can only have head and tail, right? So there will be 2 possible outcome. Alright, so for sample space, it's just a terminology. You do not need to worry too much. Alright. Okay, number 3. So how do I calculate probability? So this one is simple. For example, the probability of an event E. Okay, so what is the chance that event E might occur? So you use the number of favorable outcomes for event E divided by the total number of possible outcome. Right? Okay, let's move on to number 4, which is the properties of probability. So for any type of probability, it can only lie between 0 and 1. So you cannot say that this probability is 2. Cannot be, because if you say it's 2 means it's beyond the maximum range of your probability. Okay, so if E is an impossible event, then P bracket E, right? So this P means probability lah. The probability that event E will happen is 0. Okay, so if E is a certain event, means that confirm will happen, the P bracket E is equal to 1. Okay, so number 7 is by far one of the more important property of probability. So if E is any event, so example, E is the event that today will rain. So how do I calculate the probability that today will not rain? Okay, so E complement means that today will not rain. So I just use 1 minus P bracket E, right? Okay, so this is a very useful property that we can use to solve a lot of questions. Okay, the next is called mutually exclusive event. So mutually exclusive event means that if I have A and B, the choice of A and B cannot occur together. So event A and B cannot occur together. So example, if I toss a coin, there can only be head or tail, cannot be head and tail together. Alright. Okay, so if they are both mutually exclusive event, I can simply just add up. So PA plus PB. Okay, now let's move on to the independent event. Independent event is also very important. Okay, because normally we are dealing with a lot of independent event, especially when you're using your tree diagram. So for example, if A and B are independent, right? Independent means A and B, they are not interrelated. They are not related. So the event of A, right, the probability that A occurs and the probability that B occurs, they are they do not affect one another. Okay, so if they do not affect one another, right, means that I can multiply them together. So a very common thing that you see, for example, if I draw a tree diagram, right, so example, head and tail. Maybe I toss 2 times lah. So the probability that I get head is half. The probability that I get tail is half also. Okay, so the second toss is head and tail again, right? Head and tail. Okay, so head is half again, tail is half. Okay, then after that, head is half, tail is half. What is the probability that I get 2 head? So I just use half multiplied by half. So you notice that I use half times half, right? Because the second toss and the first toss, they are called independent. Okay, right? So that is an example of independent event, right? Okay, so these are all the few terminologies that we need to know.